I sold my company for 7 figures at 23. Hopefully, we'll sell for 7 figures in 2023, but hopefully, I don't know. You know how every entrepreneur dreams of the day they're gonna finally be able to say, hey, I sold my company. I exited for millions of dollars. Like Beats by Dr. Dre, acquired by Apple for $3 billion in 2014. Google bought YouTube in 2006 for $1.6 billion. And Elon bought Twitter for $44 billion. And I sold Tweet Hunter last year for $1.4 million. Now on paper, that sounds great, right? I was born in Guatemala, third world country. I was making $250 a month as a VA.
Hello everybody, and hello group admins.
I sold perfume door to door, I sold clothes, I sold software that, by the way, made us like $1,500 in 2 years. I tried to sell Charizard stickers, I tried to sell e-commerce stores, like I did so many things. So on paper, exiting a company at 23 for 7 figures, I thought it was just gonna be the end all be all. I was finally gonna be able to say like, I made it. I thought everybody was gonna be like, yo, you're such a G, you're the man, you're gonna be on Forbes, and everybody was gonna talk about the Guatemalan success. But honestly, I might regret it. Now, when I see the space of internet business now, I see a lot of people who are young and up and coming, and they want to build something that one day they may be able to exit. Something to say, hey, I did it. Have that little star on their chest. And some people have that big dream too. They want to exit because, let's face it, it's cool. There's a ton of great things that come with selling the company, which we'll get into. But I just want to give you the perspective of someone who actually pulled the trigger, and I was able to see what's in the other side. So maybe you might want to take these things into consideration. So for those of you who don't know, I sold Tweet Hunter. This was a tweet scheduler that I started with another programmer called Thibaut and another product guy called Thomas. So they had a product, but no audience. I had a big audience, but no product. So it made a lot of sense to collaborate. We got together on the first call and we were all very clear. Guys, you know the plan, right? We're gonna pump and we're gonna sell and then we're gonna be rich. Everybody was on board. So we had a goal. And you know that Avengers scene where Captain America is giving everybody instructions and then he points out to Hulk and he says, Hulk, you smash. I was the Hulk. I just got the product, I got the link, and I just retweeted and tweeted and sent it to my email list as many times as I could. I just wanted to get people in the product to buy. And it was hard because growing an audience is very different from growing a software product. But I had that North Star. I knew that if I just kept grinding, if I just kept going, then one day maybe I will be able to exit and finally, have that money in the bank account, and then I can use it for other things. Learn a lot about clients, learn a lot about churn, learn a lot about product. And we got it to like $120,000 a month in a year. Now we're going to get into the Molina math part of the equation. So I own 25% of the company, which is why I wanted to exit for $4 million. 25% of $4 million is $1 million. That would make me a millionaire in cash. So the way SaaS works, or how I was told it was going to work, which by the way, these are very inflated numbers. According to my 2 researchers on Google, you could sell a SaaS company for around 10 times what you make in a year. So if you make $1 million, you could sell for 10. If you make 10, you can sell for 100. If we get a company to $40,000 a month, we can sell that for $4 million. That was around the math. That was not what happened. But we were in a good spot. We were hitting big numbers. We reached more than $100,000 a month. And then we thought, okay, time to look for a buyer. And in my mind, it was going to be kind of a success, just like Alex Becker's success. He sold Hyros for $110 million. I thought I can sell for $4. I wanted to have that $1 million in cash and be like, I did it. Everybody looked at me. I'm cool. Because honestly, like entrepreneurs do have this sense of insecurity, and I have that a lot. And I wanted people to see that I was cool. So here's how the deal was presented. We had a broker and it wasn't going really well until we used our contacts. So Thibaut knew this guy Guillaume from middle school. So here's what's crazy. There was this company called Lempire. Lempire is a cold email company, and they were looking for a personal branding tool. Because if you do cold email and you combine it with personal branding, it's actually really powerful. They were in the market for a personal branding tool. We had some brokers, but it wasn't going as well as we wanted it to go. So we just couldn't sell until we realized the guy that's looking for a tool that has a lot of money, he also went to middle school with one of our co-founders, Thibaut. We actually have a picture of it. So they connected. A lot of months of negotiation went by and eventually it was official. They gave us an offer. We wanted to sell for 4, but they promised 1.4. It wasn't what we expected, but we took it. The reason why we took the deal was personally, I believe that the entrepreneur that you need to become to reach $1 million a year is very different from the entrepreneur you need to become to reach $10 million a year. And I didn't understand that process. It was a skill set I didn't have. I wasn't ready for it. Two, I didn't want to do that. I want to do my own thing. I want to build my own business. I want to be this guy that does things that he wants to do. Like I want to be my own thing. I don't want to work for somebody. So I wanted that freedom. And I also wanted the little star in my chest that's, hey, I sold the company. Sometimes they give you money in like stocks or whatever. I wanted cash. So I asked them to deposit the money. And by the way, it was a pain in the ass to figure out all the taxes and stuff, but we did it. And the money took like 2 weeks to come home. But when it hit the money, I remember what was happening. I sold the company. I wanted to accomplish my childhood dream, which was bringing my grandma to Venice. Because when I was a kid, we were watching a movie. She was kind of sleepy and she goes, you know what, mijo, one day I want to go to Venice. Like that's one thing I want to do. And I'm like shocked because she never asked for anything. So I told her,
you know what, Grandma? One day I'm going to be rich and I'm going to take you to Venice.
So I took her to Venice, and I was during that trip when the money actually arrived in my account. And I was sitting right next to her when it did. I was looking at my phone and I get the notification. You're a lot of money richer now than you were 2 seconds ago. Honestly, nothing really changed. Like we think that we're going to have this huge exit and we're going to chill at the beach forever. And that doesn't happen, because to win as an entrepreneur, you need that animal that's inside of you that's always pushing. And we believe that once we sell, that animal is going to calm down, and it never fucking calms down. It's always pushing. It's always going. You think you're going to be able to rest maybe for like 2 days, and then you're going to get back at it. I didn't get in the game to make money. That was the original reason. Like I come from Guatemala, dude. Like I don't need much money to go by. So I'm like, why not aim for bigger? So now one of the biggest lessons I got is I scratched my itch to have that little medal and say, hey, you did it. But I feel like I needed to go through that phase of, okay, attaboy, you did it. Now let's play actual interesting games. And I feel like I needed that. I fell in love with the idea of an exit. And after exiting, I fell out of love with it. But I needed that breakup. I needed that villain arc in order to go for something better. I don't think I would have the ambition that I have today if I didn't experience that. Now, what good came out of the deal? I bought an apartment. I bought some of the coolest equipment. I have a really cool team around me. So one of the coolest things about money is not a what, but also a who. Who can you put around you to build bigger things? And I'm also more detached from it. It's like, I know that whatever happens, I have a lot of money to fuck away. So why not aim big? Life was pretty much the same. I was still drinking a little bit too much coffee. I still didn't have that much of a good sleep. I was kind of just going on Twitter anyway. Like nothing really happened. Because let's be honest, like if you put all your happiness tied to one event, then what happens once that event is over? Mike Tyson has a podcast. It's called Hotboxing. And in Hotboxing, there's an episode where he's crying. And they ask him, why are you crying? We're talking about the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. He had quote unquote everything at 19. And he says, I'm always afraid. Like I'm always just, I don't know what's next. I'm always afraid, and I do everything out of fear because I don't know how to control myself. And I really resonated with that, because when I sold it, I was kind of afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it again. It actually was very interesting because once you sell a company, people don't say this, but once you sell a company, you assume that the success you had is going to be easily replicable on the next one. Whereas sometimes we in our ego fails to acknowledge that sometimes we just get lucky. Tweet Hunter, I 100% got lucky. How do you explain that my second software company was a 7-figure exit? Like you have to get lucky at that point. And I did. So next time I started my new company, which is Lex and Cash, I needed to relearn a lot of things, and not only skills, but also assumptions. I assumed that everything I was going to do was going to be like a grand slam. Doesn't work that way. You need to relearn the thing. You need to acquire another set of skills, and it takes time. But that humbling experience, I hope, is what's going to be able to like take me to the next big thing. Money aside, it's a really cool story to tell. And now I'm building my next company, and I'm just singing for the moon, because one big story that I had to learn the hard way is this. Lex and Cash, because I had the huge account and I was making no money until this product came along, and I had to really learn lead gen, conversion, reselling, retention, upselling, actually getting people to talk about you, because I understood that building an audience and building a business are two very different skills. Now I want to use these experiences of somebody who got to the big account, no money, and then turn it into a big money account, so I can show it to others and tell them, hey, for all the people that have a ton of likes but no no cash, it doesn't have to be that way, which is why that's the next company, Likes and Cash. Hopefully this message will reach other people that are in that situation in which they have the likes, but they don't have the cash. And my mission is to help you get both. I hope you enjoy, and remember, Likes and Cash.